What's going on, guys? Welcome again to the Third and 10 podcast. Season 3, episode 13 is now live. I'm your host, Nathan Nguyen, joined by my guy, Brian Germinaro. We hope you guys are having an outstanding Tuesday or whenever you're seeing this. We appreciate your guys' support nonetheless. Brian, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
I've made a discovery, Nate. I think
Oh,
I've
you did?
discovered the most crazy thing ever. They have gummy candies in the face of Shaq's head called Shakoliciouses.
Hmm.
I found them at a convenience store the other day, and I was in shock, in that literal shock of what I was looking at, because I feel like Shaq would promote this, and if Shaq doesn't know about this, it's even funnier.
He promotes so much stuff. There was
Well, you would think gummies with his head on. It's literally his face. It's gummies with his face.
I'm pretty sure if there's anything that he's promoted that he knows the most about it, it's that, because it's literally him. He's had so many products that have came out in the past. One time I think he has an egg maker, I think, or you put the eggs in the maker and it cooks it for you.
That's called a frying pan.
Yeah, but he has a bunch of products. It was like a TNT episode of Inside the NBA. Rest in peace to that show. It's not going anywhere. It's going to ESPN, but I digress.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, he has an egg maker.
Somehow they're gonna put Stephen A. Smith on that panel, and like,
why? They better not.
They're going to, because that's all they do in every show. And be like, why is the show not succeeding? Well, why is the show not succeeding like it did at TNT? Because you messed up the chemistry.
Yeah, they better not. Oh,
you shoehorned in like the most controversial person in sports media, and now you're wondering why the ratings tanked.
According to what I heard, they're not gonna alter or mess up any of the show. The same producers from TNT are coming over to work with the show. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But if I see Stephen A. Smith on there, I'm gonna lose my crap, because
so will everybody.
Yeah, either Stephen A. or Kendrick Perkins, or because
Stephen A., Kendrick Perkins. Trying to think of some of their other experts.
Bob Myers, but he's actually sort of an expert. I mean, he was the GM for the Warriors for quite some time during their dynasty run, especially.
And if the hot take analysts they have, like Stephen A., Kendrick Perkins, the guys that just say stupid stuff.
They're just loud.
To go viral. They're just loud. Nothing they say makes sense. They're easily referable. Guys like that. If any of those people get on there, it ruins it.
Yeah. Well, as long as Shaq, Ernie, Kenny, and Chuck are together,
yes,
we'll be okay. So looking forward to see how that show looks like on ESPN. Once the next NBA season goes along, we'll talk about NBA later on as well, with the NBA Finals being tied up 1-1 at this time. But we got a lot of other topics to discuss before we get to that. By the way, shout out to my guy, Denzel Clark, man. He's making absurd catches.
Yeah, what was that? That was Spider-Man.
The A's are trash right now, but
yeah, what are you 3-21 now?
I believe we're 3-21 since, I believe, we're in June. Yeah, like
May.
Early part of May. 3-21 since the early part of May. So it's been rough. So no A's gear today. It's
so funny, like, someone point this out. The Rockies win a series, and everybody else didn't realize, wait a minute, the A's are really bad right now. So the A's.
It's like the Rockies.
It's like we took a break from making fun of the Rockies because they got swept, and we were like, I don't know, the A's are pretty bad. Everyone back on their bandwagon.
It's like them. Let's go make fun of them.
The normal punching bag actually did something good. We can't make fun of them. All right, who's next?
Who's the next worst team? Up is the A's. Oh, no surprise there. Their owner sucks and the team sucks and everything. But at least they have a good center fielder.
Time to roll without the classics, boys.
But at least they have a good center fielder who's making absurd defensive plays. He's a Canadian.
No, they have good play. They have good players. It's just baseball. Happens sometimes.
No, our pitching is just terrible.
Oh yeah, that too.
Luis
Severino is crazy. Have you seen his home and away splits?
Yeah, he's better. He's better on the road.
He's not better on the road. He is a different. pitcher on the road. He's an ERA under 1 on the road. But his ERA in whatever Sacramento calls their park is like a 7. And that's not even me like over dramatizing. Like, go look at the splits. It's like a 0.78 and then like a 6.98.
It's just
literally insane.
I just don't think home for the A's is actually home.
You don't have a home. You're homeless. You're like the Chargers a few years ago.
Yeah, they don't feel. Oh, which by the way, I actually liked it low key when they were playing at the Coliseum, the LA Memorial
Chargers
Coliseum.
never played the Coliseum.
Sorry, the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams at the Coliseum was cool, but the Chargers playing in the soccer stadium that the opposing team just filled up was embarrassing.
Oh, right. My apologies. I got the two mixed up. I was just like, wait a minute. That's right. They did play
They played at the Galaxy Stadium. It was like 30,000, and like it was literally the team played 16 road games, and that's like literally players are like, yeah, we have no home field advantage. We don't have a home. Nobody's coming to our games.
I feel like, and I'm not trying to make fun of anyone, but like imagine a Hispanic family ask their kids, like, you want to go to a football game? And they're like, yeah. They take them to the Chargers game. It's
Chargers?
What the fudge is this?
It's not what I was expecting.
It's like, no, you waste your money on this. I don't watch this stuff. Yeah, but with the A's, man, like I just at first in the beginning, obviously I was excited for the at the start of the regular season to like see how the home stadium like Sutter Health Park would be for the A's, and honestly,
it's a cool layout.
No, it's really
no.
Not.
I like the burb in right field. I like that. I think that's cool. The fans can just sit out there on towels and stuff. They give like that like spring training feel to it.
Yeah, but you're having a spring training live for like what 81 games.
Well,
it's just so quiet, man. It's like 10, 11, 12,000 people. Where meanwhile, like major league stadiums they can seat up to like
City Field's 42,000.
40,000 people. It's like that's triple the A's that capacity. And it's just the team is just bad right now. The pitching is bad. Even Sevy has fallen off now a little bit. Yeah, everyone hasn't been the greatest, so it's all good. It's okay. I get to hopefully see a winning team this weekend for the first time. Just for the one day on Saturday. Shout out to my guy Josh. Excited to celebrate his birthday down there in SoCal. So, but yeah, my goal hopefully is to see an Ohtani home run and eat a 16-inch hot dog with a pound of fries.
Okay.
It's their new item. Yes, I will let you know how that goes when I come back.
Not well. It's not going to go well.
The stomach might be suffering.
I ate 2 hot dogs. I'm like, all right, I'm done.
If I call in sick on Tuesday, which I will not, but if I do, you know why. But we have a fun show for you guys today. We have 3 major NFL moves that we'll be discussing, which includes Aaron Rodgers, who we discussed a little bit about last week, but we'll go a little bit more in depth this week in this episode. We'll talk about Nick Chubb, who has a new home. So happy for him, by the way. Deserves to be on an NFL team, and he's back on one. And we'll talk about Jaire Alexander as well, who was actually released by the Packers, and then we'll talk about the impact of that, not just for the team, but also for him as well. Then we'll talk about the Giants and Russell Wilson. Not enough praise, I feel like we've given him. Plus, with the recent comments of Wan'Dale Robinson, it's interesting to see how why
they have a quarterback again. They have a competent quarterback,
someone that will actually get him the ball. So we'll talk about that. And the Mets just wrapped up a 7-game road trip, and they did quite well during that road trip.
God, the West Coast is over. I'm so tired. 10 o'clock.
You've mentioned this before. It's
going to be so nice at 7:10. Turn the game on tonight on the East Coast.
Turn on at 7, be done by like 10-ish, barring any extra
10,
innings.
watch a movie, and go to bed.
Perfect schedule for you, if you ask me, it seems like. And then we'll end the show with NBA Finals talk and NHL Stanley Cup Finals talk as well. So, all right. First order of business. Let's get to it. we'll start with Nick Chubb first. I feel like that's the main headline of the NFL so far today. Nick Chubb signed a 1-year, $2.5 million contract with the Houston Texans after passing his physical yesterday. So congrats to him. Top ball guy, man. He is one of the best running backs in the league. By the way, the contract is up to $5 million in with incentives. We'll be talking about incentives a little bit more than usual today because Aaron Rodgers also has some incentives with this contract. But in regards to Nick Chubb, talking about a 4-time Pro Bowler with a 5.1 yards per carry average, which is among the best in NFL history. So he is a very consistent running back who will get the yards for you and make life easier for the offense. And the Houston Texans definitely got a good player in Chubb. Unfortunately, in 2023, he suffered a severe knee injury that affected his 2024 season as well. He did come back from injury last year, right? But just didn't look the same at all. No. And Jerome Ford stepped in, and I think Kareem Hunt? No,
No. Kareem Hunt was there for a little bit.
Okay, I was gonna say Kareem Hunt was there too, right? Stepped in and replaced him for a little bit, but otherwise, the Browns felt like it was time to move on. They released him this offseason, and we saw I've personally seen multiple videos of him working out, showing that he's healthy and deserves a spot on an NFL team. And the Houston Texans were the one to give him a call, and after passing his physical, signed him to a 1-year prove-it deal, and he joins the Joe Mixon, Woody Marks, and Dameon Pierce in that running back room.
Talking about a guy that's fallen off. Like, if there was a time Dameon Pierce was like the next up-and-coming running back, and now he's just the RB4 on that depth chart, RB3.
Yeah.
It's going to be Mixon and Chubb, 1-2, and then
no doubt.
Maybe Pierce comes in as like a guy to change up the vibes, but he's barely going to get the touches he once did.
No doubt. Yeah, even especially with Marks, too. Marks is a pretty talented running back himself, and he'll probably come in, in relief, maybe a couple snaps here and there.
Does Pierce get cut during camp? I think it's a legit discussion to have.
I could see him being traded, possibly get a late round pick, because when he was on the field, when he was RB1, he didn't do too bad.
No. I know that rookie. I remember in fantasy he was big. Like, oh no, this is a guy to watch going forward.
Oh yeah, I had him on my fantasy team for a little bit. That's how I know the Dameon Pierce experience. But yeah, I mean, with Chubb joining the Texans, that's a good 1-2 punch with him and Mixon. So. Mixon being the RB1, by the way, and Chubb being the number 2. But in your opinion, how much of an impact does this signing have or make for?
I think this is going to be I think it's a great move for the Texans. I think it's going to make bigger impact than people are expecting it. Like, a lot of people forget just how good Nick Chubb was because of how brutal that knee injury was, and it took him out for a year and a half, and then he had to basically spend last year relearning how to play football. Like. It's one thing to practice and do drills and stuff. It's another thing that when you're in the heat of the moment, you're playing against a different team. There is an adjustment period, especially when you miss so much time. So I think signing this 1-year deal is perfect. I don't think he's going to reach the same level he was in Cleveland because he's older now and the knee injury was so bad. You kind of lose a little bit of your zap. It's like when you tear your ACL, you're never the player you once were. But I think Chubb could be a very productive back, especially having a guy like Joe Mixon next to him. So I think Texas might have one of the best 1-2 punches of running backs in football.
Great point there, no doubt. Less wear and tear on both, not just Chubb, but also Mixon too, and that just
keeps him fresh.
Exactly.
Especially you can easily do a 50-50 split with them, and they'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Now, from a fantasy perspective, it's not good for those who draft.
No, that's not good fantasy-wise. But like, if you're a Texans fan, you can be comfortable with 2 aging running backs because they'll complement each other nicely and take up a 50-50 split.
Mm-hmm. You're in that way. You're saving them in case you make the postseason. They're both healthy, not too many carries on them or too many snaps, I should say, on them as well. It's going to be only going to be positive, having a 1-2 punch. And honestly, the best case scenario is they produce and stay healthy, like we saw with Detroit. These past couple seasons with Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, and
I don't think it'll be that explosive because of their age, but it will be effective, especially with the questions the Texans are going to have this coming year with Tank Dell being gone and Stroud kind of having a so-so year last year. This takes a lot of pressure off Stroud can continue to adjust and not have to worry about going back to his rookie year form. You know, you kind of become a different quarterback with these two running backs with them.
Yeah. Then the only concern I have is that offensive line.
That's brutal. It was bad last year. They did nothing to improve it, and then got rid of their best offensive lineman.
Yeah, because Larry Tunsil's gone. He is in, where is he now again? Washington. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh God, he doesn't really fear me that much. Or scare me that much.
Rush, we're fine.
Yeah, we'll be good.
We're fine.
We'll be fine.
Larry Tunsil can't fight three guys at once, and if he does, God bless.
Yeah, God bless. But you got Carter, Tibbs, and Burns, and Dex. Yeah, good luck with that one. No, but yeah, I think the O-line is a concern for me. They drafted the Emery guy from Minnesota in the second round, and he's a pretty good prospect himself.
Right, but that's a guy that needs to develop and get accustomed to the NFL life. That's he's not going to step in day one and be this franchise left tackle.
Yeah, and then they filled in some other holes with some, different guys, but it's like nothing. Well, first, no one notable, and second, it's like it's not a good offensive line, and CJ Stroud might be fighting for his life back there, and that's what kind of scares me as well, because Chubb is running behind a worse offensive line compared to when he was in Cleveland. Because when he was with Cleveland, man, he was productive there, and the O-line was great. Comes here, it's two different levels.
The gaps aren't going to be there like they are in Cleveland. He's going to have to kind of create them on his own. Or Texans OC has got to be creative to get them towards the outside and away from defenders.
Yeah, unless Houston's offensive line just magically just plays really well. We'll see what happens. Yeah, but like you mentioned, it's going to only help CJ Stroud take the pressure off his shoulders, man. I mean, last year was a bit of a struggle for him, whether it's the offensive line or just injuries to his receivers or just his production overall. Hopefully this season's better, especially with the talented running back he'll be having behind him. Definitely going to be exciting to see. But shout out to Chubb, man. Good for him to be on a new NFL team for sure. The Browns moved on from him, but it's
smart for the Browns to move on from. They have Junkins, they have Sampson. Ford, I know, is there, but his time is pretty limited till this year. But Junkins and Sampson will be the 1-2 punch. They're cheaper than Nick Chubb. They're younger than Nick Chubb. That's what running backs are. Like I know we had this whole revolution of paying running backs, as we saw Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. Nick Chubb is a good running back, but especially coming off that kind of injury, I don't think he can do that kind of thing. And the Browns aren't a good enough team where a good running back is going to turn them into playoff contenders, right?
Yeah.
It's smart to develop their own 1-2 punch, and then when they're ready to compete again, they become good, and then they pay them.
Yes, sir. And I'm excited for what Jenkins will bring to the table for Cleveland, because, I mean, we saw what he did at Ohio State. With him and TreVeyon Henderson doing their thing as well. Henderson beat on the Patriots, for those who don't know. But Sampson is definitely a underrated running back to watch. He's a speedster, so
he's underrated, but he's not going to go off this year.
Not this year.
No, I think Ford takes away a lot of his volume and stuff, so I think he's going to be more of like that, like kind of like change of pace type back, but like. Maybe week 15 on, he kind of turns it on, and then next year we'll kind of see the breakout of Sampson alongside Junkins.
All right. Well, I will not be drafting Sampson in fantasy this year. Then that's the case.
If you're a dynasty player, I would take a flyer on him and sit him for a year. But if you're a redraft, he might be a nice waiver wire pickup around your fantasy playoffs. Other than that,
nope. Stay away. Yeah. So, but alrighty. Well, as we continue, I should say, with NFL players being signed, we talked about Aaron Rodgers a little bit last week. Not as much in depth as I wanted to, because we had other things to talk about. But Rodgers stated this season or this offseason that he wanted to play for about $10 million, and this Pittsburgh Steelers were like, "You got it, pal."
Cool,
signing him to a 1-year, $13.65 million contract, which can go up to $19.5 million. Now, I want
shot he's going to get that money,
and you know exactly why he won't get up to 19 or get to $19.5 million.
Because he's washed.
Yeah, but did you see the incentives?
I have not. I've not looked at the contract because I'm just like the Steelers signed him. That's it. I don't want any more Aaron Rodgers content in my life.
So I don't want to. If I get into specifics, it's going to kill time, and we don't got time to kill.
Just read off like the funny ones or the big ones.
He simply needs to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's it.
That is literally to sum it up in one sentence. He needs to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's easy. It's in the AFC
for sure.
North?
Yeah, in the North. Oh, for sure. The AFC's weak too, man. He's the best quarterback in the AFC.
Easily. What are we talking about?
For sure.
And see, the worst part about this conversation is this is the conversation Aaron Rodgers has in his mind constantly and believes it 100% to be true.
He's not even a top 10 quarterback in the AFC.
No.
Let's go through them real quick.
Mahomes, Allen,
Burrow. Stroud
is definitely ahead of him.
Herbert.
Bo Nix is probably higher than him.
Geno.
I'm going to say you can make the argument for Geno.
Due to the South?
Who's in the South?
I'll take Cam Ward over Rodgers.
I mean, I take that's tough because you're going with the washed veteran versus the unknown.
Okay.
Unknown of Cam Ward.
You got it. Okay, let me take him off.
Well, that's you're right. I think most people would take Cam Ward, but that's also unfair because it's just like we know what we have in Rodgers. It's washed and it's old. Cam Ward is the new shiny toy that we don't know what's going to be. It's
true.
It's the Family Guy thing. It's the mystery box. It's like it could be a mystery box. It could be anything. It could even be a boat. We've already want one of those. Just take the boat then. Why don't we just take the boat?
Freaking Peter, by the way. I remember that. I literally remember that scene loud and clear.
Yeah.
In my head.
But that's what Cam Ward is we don't know what he's going to be. He could be Aaron Rodgers, the washed version. He also could be Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl MVP. We don't know.
True. I'll take Cam Ward off. Can I say Drake May?
I would take Drake May because Drake May at least shown flashes he could be a good NFL quarterback.
And then give me.
You take here's the two interesting ones: Lawrence and Tua. I feel like Rodgers probably falls in that category. I feel like that's where he is right now.
Because Lawrence is literally the definition of average, and Tua can't play in cold weather.
Tua can't play in cold weather, but Tua does have those games where he does look like that franchise quarterback.
True.
Like we very, very quickly forget Miami was like 9-0 and like had like one of the best offenses we've ever seen just 2 years ago.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
And then the weather got cold, and then it stopped.
And he just suffered. Yeah, he just couldn't do anything. But yeah, pretty clear. 10 quarterbacks better than him in the AFC.
He's
like
probably ranked
touch the NFC.
12th in the AFC.
12 11, right 12. Yeah, and he's probably in the low 20s in the NFL overall.
Because, like I said, you don't really rank Cam. Like I think the only quarterbacks behind him you could say for a fact are like Richardson, Fields. Trying to think who else. Like that's really it. Because I feel like Tua and Lawrence you can make the debate.
Yeah, you can make for sure.
I feel like the only two quarterbacks for certain he's better than are the two guys I just mentioned. I just completely slipped my mind. Richardson and Fields are the only guys ahead of him.
Yeah, one's rookie, another one. Well,
Richardson's development, who showed no flashes of NFL goodness, and Fields has had flashes, but never good enough for long periods of stretches. It's like he'll have 1 or 2 games that he looks like a really good quarterback, and then 5 games where he's never touched football in his life. Yeah, the hope is he can go to the Jets and kind of figure it out, but that's not,
Yeah, not me thinking Richardson was a rookie. I forgot. I was like, well, he plays like one. So I was half right, but yeah, I mean, overall, Rodgers definitely not getting to the $19.5 million bonus.
The Steelers might not even make the playoffs. What are we talking about? Super Bowl.
That is true. That was the question I was going to ask you. I was like, does this make them a strong contender at all? Because
it makes them a more legitimate contender than having. You can't just write them off now like you could with Mason Rudolph because at least Rodgers was a good quarterback at one point and like can be. I don't think he's gonna be asked to do so much because that their whole team revolves around running the football and their defense. And like if you have a strong defense and like an average offense, you could probably sneak in. But I don't. They're not better than the Ravens. They might. The Browns are a mess. The Bengals are weird because they're kind of the opposite of what the Steelers are. But like they're not winning the division, and then they have to deal with the wild card. But like, are they really better than the Chargers? Are they really better than Miami? Are they really better than, you know, like a Jacksonville team that might come out of nowhere, or like a Titans team or a Colt, anyone in the South? Are they really better?
Best case, they literally sneak in as a 7th seed. That is the best case scenario.
That's like a 9-8 team.
Yeah,
their ceiling is like 10-7.
Pretty much.
I'd be shocked they would 11 games.
We don't got like the schedule at all. Like we just based off just the team. Okay, so the team as constructed is a borderline 7 seed. By the way, I get the move. It wasn't a surprise to anyone. They
had to make this move. This is the move they had to. They were forced. They couldn't go in this year with Mason Rudolph as your starting quarterback. You had to go out and get Rodgers.
Well, personally, I kind of thought Will Howard was going to start.
He could, but that's just shooting his development immediately.
Yeah. Okay, we talked about before. Rookie quarterback should sit, a year or two, but it's like the excitement, and I feel like if anyone, especially he just did win the national championship for the Buckeyes.
But the excitement is the same thing that has Cam Warriors. We just don't know what he is.
Yeah,
like we know what Mason Rudolph is. He's not good. Skylar Thompson's an absolute joke to have on your roster. Still, he should be flipping burgers at the local McDonald's. Like, what's he doing on an NFL field?
The fact that he played a playoff game for Miami was.
I will give him a pass because Tua was hurt, and he was their last option possible.
They had no one else. It was like, hey man,
it's like Connor Cook starting that playoff game for the Raiders a few years ago.
So sad.
It's like our hands are tied here. We have to start him.
They had a magical season, by the way, ahead of them. The Raiders did, and
the Raiders could have won a Super Bowl that year.
Stupid Coliseum field messed up his leg, and it was.
You could argue messed up his career.
Oh yeah. Oh, no doubt. He was never really the same after that.
No.
He really wasn't.
He was an MVP candidate that year. Him and Carson Wentz, now that I think about it, have very similar careers. MVP season cut short by brutal injury and just could never get back to that level.
Go to a second team, doesn't even look the same, and then retires. Well, Carson Wentz is still in the league.
Is he?
Well,
does it really count to be Patrick Mahomes' backup? We could be Patrick Mahomes' backup. We're never seeing the field.
Unless you're in a Week 18 game, that makes no difference.
And in that game, they don't care. They let fans call plays at that point. So I don't know.
True. All the trick plays and all the fun.
Let's just do fun stuff, guys. It's like kids on a field day. It's like, I don't know. We don't really care.
Let's just have fun. Just to run weird plays.
It's like it's the last week of school for them. It's like, I don't know. Nothing matters anymore. We are closer to summer than we're ever going to be. Let's just screw off.
Let's just chill. Yeah, exactly. But with Pittsburgh, and I wrote this down too. The offensive line is a big issue for me. We talked about the O-line earlier with Nick Chubb and then the Texans. Same situation applies, but just with, it affects a different player, which is Rodgers in this instance, because look, when he was with the Jets, like the O-line, it wasn't bad, but he was low-key fighting for his life back there at times. And
we lost the mobility.
Yeah. That's the key thing is mobility. And he's going to a Pittsburgh team whose offensive line is also very questionable and unknown at this point in time. And they lost their left tackle, Dan Moore Jr., who wasn't the greatest left tackle in the world, but he was
serviceable.
The best they got, who's with Tennessee now. They overpaid the heck out of they overpaid for him, but hey, it's offensive lineman. You got to pay for a premium position like that. So Look, I think for me, that's the thing that scares me is because with his lack of mobility plus the bad offensive line, it's going to be a similar situation to what he had or what he dealt with in New York with the Jets. So that kind of leads to my next question. The next thing they need to do is sign offensive lineman.
Pretty much,
And
yeah.
okay. And do you think they should go
Well,
get
they're
a
not going to. The next move is Alan Lazard. That's the next move.
I love that. They're gonna get all of his old teammates back. Like,
Yeah.
all right, you play with Rodgers. All right, come on down. They can't get Devontae though, barring some miraculous trade mid-season, but they won't.
They won't. It's Alan Lazard. Alan Lazard or like Randall Cobb's gonna come out of retirement.
Stupid, man. They better not do that. But yeah, they need to get some linemen. There has to be some guys out there they can get. I think Brandon Sheriff is still out there available.
Anyone's better than what they got right now.
Anyone's better than what they
trot 'em
got
out.
right
Let's
now,
see what they
man.
got.
Just get some linemen, seriously, and then get at least one white out. That's my goal for
Lazard. There you go.
Yeah, Lazard, or you go trade for a Christian Watson or a Romeo Dobbs.
Well, Watson's got the ACL injury, so they don't know when he's going to be back.
Oh, well, yeah, maybe not him.
Yeah,
but there's plenty of Keenan Allen is still out there as a free agent.
That'd be a good one.
Not a former teammate of Rodgers, but he is a big body target. You pair him up with the DK Metcalf. That's a good 1-2 punch. Mm-hmm. And a 1-2 veteran punch, I should say, as well. And yeah, we'll see what they have. $19 million in cap space, so
time to use it.
They got money to spend. Well, some of it's going to go towards TJ Watt because he is not at mandatory minicamp.
Right, but they can manipulate the cap and stuff, backload the contract, Yeah, NFL salary caps are all that stuff. Fake money.
Oh yeah, they'll do all the tweaks and money and numbers
they'll find every loophole possible, and
they always do.
They'll have like TJ Watt's cap hits would be just like $5 million or something.
Yeah, they always figure it out. The Saints
are always $100 million in debt, and just by some miracle, always figure out how to play the system. I think having Derek Carr's contract helps a lot. But
yeah, which shout out to Derek Carr, by the way, because he was like, I was trying to get the surgery and take the Saints' money. That's why he retired, so the Saints would get to save money. So good good on his part for doing that. But the Saints got lucky.
That's a good team player, is all that is.
No doubt at all. But yeah, and then finally, Jaire Alexander. We'll talk about Alexander real quick, and we'll go to the Giants. We'll talk about Russ afterwards. Alexander was released by the Packers. The 2-time Pro Bowler was among the best cornerbacks in the league when he was healthy, but suffered the past couple seasons with injuries. A back and shoulder injury kept him out limited him, I should say, to 7 games played in 2023, and then a knee injury in 24 also limited him to just 7 games last season. So he was set to make over $16 million. The team said, "Hey, you want to take a pay cut?" He said no, and that's why he was released. So, was this a bad move by the Packers, or was this understandable?
This is understandable because he was making a lot of money, and they tried all offseason to trade him. Like, this is not out of left field. Like, this is something that has been going on forever. It was like if you're a Packers fan, I understand why you're upset by it, but this shouldn't come as a surprise to you because the trade rumors were there forever. The Giants even called him out trying to see what the price tag was on Alexander. Like, this is something that's been in the works. If you had him penciled in on your Packers roster for 2025, you just weren't paying attention to the rumors. So it sucks that they lose such a good player like Alexander is, but you're paying for what he was, not what he currently is. So you have to make the business decision and put that money invested smarter into the team.
Yeah, when they did have him when he was healthy and playing, the Packers were 10-4 with a 64% completion percentage and an 85.5 passer rating allowed. Without him, they were 10-10 with a 68% completion percentage and allowing a 95.4 passer rating. So clearly they're better with him, but just with the injuries these past couple of seasons, they felt it was time to move on.
They couldn't find a trade partner for him because that probably would, I think, be better for the fans. Like, okay, we lose Alexander, but we're getting something back. Cutting him just stinks because we got nothing.
I would have done like a 1-for-1 with Miami with Ramsey and Alexander, honestly.
Yeah.
But
yeah, or just like send him to somewhere and get like a 4th round pick back. It's like, all right, we got something that maybe we could package it and get someone else, or that pick turns into a decent role player. We go from there.
But Green Bay definitely needs help at corner because they did sign Nate Hobbs. Shout out to him, by the way. Same name. Cool. Well, not Nate. No, my name is Nathan, but I go by Nate. And anyways, Nate Hobbs was signed to a 4-year, $48 million contract. So he's going to be the CB1. It's just a matter of who's going to be on the other side. Their 2nd-round pick last year in 2024, Javon Bullard. He's going to be the slot corner. So that leaves either Keyshawn Nixon or Carrington Valentine on the to man the other side.
So who are those free agents again?
Yeah, the free agents are Stephon Gilmore, Rasul Douglas, and Jalen Ramsey is an option the Packers could go for.
I wouldn't mind bringing in Gilmore. See what he has.
I wouldn't either. That's a veteran guy.
Probably be cheap too. Probably get him to like a cheaper deal.
I think he played in Dallas last time. He wasn't that bad in Dallas.
Yeah, he played Dallas. He was fine in Dallas.
He was fine. Rasul Douglas is a solid cornerback too as well, and you pair him up with Hobbs. I don't think it's too bad. I just think, honestly, I wish they would have paid Alexander what he wanted. Like, I mean, I get it, $16 million and $12 million. It's a $3.5. It's a $3 million $3 to $4 million difference that, that extra money can be put towards, something else. But I would have banked on. I would have paid him or not ask him to take a pay cut because honestly, at least believe in him at least one more year. Be like, hey, I know you battled injuries these past couple of years. We're gonna believe in you for one more year, and if we don't, then we'll release you. Like when he's on the field, man, and especially if he was still on this team with Nate Hobbs, that's a good 1-2 corner punch.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy.
If he can stay healthy, and honestly,
because if he's hurt again, the Packers are in the same situation without the cap flexibility to go out and get a reliable backup.
Yeah. We'll see. If anything, the safeties will take the pressure off the corners. Because Xavier
McKinney back there, like it doesn't really matter who's playing quarterback too. You do have some luxury in that.
That's a ball hawk right there, man. I will say. Real quick for Alexander, what teams do you feel like are the best fits for him, or teams that can use him? I should say.
Good question. I mean, he's gonna go to a contender. Like he's probably. I can see like the Bills being a nice landing spot for him. Like I know they spent their first round pick on Maxwell, the kid from Kentucky.
Yes,
but if you don't want to rush him, bring in Alexander and kind of slowly get Maxwell along. I think that's probably the best landing spot for him is Buffalo.
Yeah, next to the Niners, by the way, too. I mean, they are a contender in the NFC West. Let's be honest. That's
because the West is wide open.
Yeah,
the West is a division that nobody wants to win. The Seahawks could have bolstered up a little bit and be kind of like the kings of the division and decided to punt.
They got worse.
Yeah.
For no reason.
It's like what?
Okay, guys.
They got worse. The Niners are kind of just big question marks. The Cardinals, you never know what they're going to get. It's pretty much the Rams division to win by default because they're the only ones that seem to be trying.
Yeah, because they have a roster too. That is among the best in that division. So, or if
again, that's not saying much.
That's not saying much, but hey, it speaks for something. As long as you win your division, you're in the playoffs. So, but I can see him going to the Niners for sure. They lost Javarius Ward in free agency, and on the corner room right now is just trash. When we do our team previews, it's gonna be one position, barring any major moves they make. It's a weakness for sure. Miami could use him as well, and then of course. The Philadelphia Eagles is an option too.
No, they don't need them. They don't need.
Oh, trust me, they'll figure it out.
I know they will, but they don't need them.
They will figure it out. I'm telling you. Whatever. Yeah, the Eagles are Eagles, so they'll always.
Ali Roseman, just Jesus.
Yeah. All right, real quick.
Hang on. Before we move on to the Giants, we do not give the Eagle Jeffrey Loria enough. We don't criticize him enough for taking team control away from Howie Rose and giving it to Chip Kelly. All right, that might be one of the dumbest decisions ever, and we just give him a pass for it. Dude was given power and immediately destroyed the roster. He traded LaShawn McCoy, one of the best running backs in the game at that point, for Kiko Alonso.
And thought that was the best move. Like, oh my,
Yeah.
it's gonna help the team,
and then
guys.
signed Marco Murray to a long-term contract. It's like, why didn't you just keep LaShawn?
It's like Murray's literally the same bat. Well,
he's worse.
Yeah, he's worse. Like, sure, he was good at one point with Dallas, but like, you know,
I had an Eagles fan that I went to middle school with when this whole debacle was happening, and I kept telling him, I'm like, dude, you're gonna suck next year. He's like, no, we'll be fine. And Marco Murray, Chip Kelly's shaping the team to what more he plays with. I'm like, okay, you're gonna suck. And then we were sitting there when Chip Kelly got fired, and the first thing I did was text him like, I was right.
And he's like, yeah, fine. And yeah, Dallas, yeah.
I was right about DeMarco Murray sucking, and I was right about the Eagles completely collapsing.
And then Jaire Alexander came in and turned the whole thing around. So I was like, oh, okay.
He came back is what he did. Because Jaire Alexander has been the GM there forever.
Yeah. But
like he might predate Andy Reid in that organization.
I think he was there. So he was there for some time, but just didn't make he wasn't like the head guy until
Howie Roseman,
right? Or
he's always been in the Eagles front office. So he was a front office intern in 2000, a salary cap staff person from 01 to 02, a director of football administration from 03 to 05, vice president of football administration from 06, 07, vice president of player personnel from 08, 09, and named general manager in 2010.
So he's been there for some time.
Yeah, he's been there since 2000.
So basically he sucked his first few years and then turned things around.
2010 to 2014, because 2014 would be around the time they gave Chip Kelly the power. So then that's when Roseman got moved to vice president of football operations, not like a power move. And then in 2019, he was named executive vice president and general manager.
Makes sense.
Re-given the power, but he was given power way. Why did you give Chip Kelly roster decisions? I loved it as a Giants fan and a man that hates the Philadelphia Eagles with a passion. But as a neutral observer, I'm like, this is the dumbest thing they've ever done in their life.
He's a coach, not a GM or a decision maker.
There are very few people that can do both. Bill Belichick is the exception, not the rule.
That's right. So, yeah, bye. Thank God they got rid of him, man. Well, for the Eagles' sake, they got rid of Chip, and they let Roseman control everything, and Roseman has done a hell of a job.
It worked. They won 2 Super Bowls.
They won 2 Super Bowls, man. He's done a hell of a job constructing the roster. So shout out to unfortunately, we have to give praise to him, but, shout out to Roseman.
No, I always admit Roseman's one of the best GMs in the game.
No doubt.
It stinks he's on your division rival, but it's just like the way he can always manipulate the salary cap and the way he's always able to land the guys that fall to him. It's just like, dude, how are you able to do this?
Yeah, whether it's good scouting or just the way he signs guys early to save money towards the future. Smart man, no doubt. So, well, hey, we have a pretty good GM in Joe Schoen ourselves, man. I know obviously this past couple of seasons has been tough for our G-men, but we've had a GM who's definitely cleaned up the mess that the previous GM.
That's what people don't get about Joe Schoen. Like, Joe Schoen's doing terrible. I'm like, well, he was left a mess. He was left
with 50 feet of crap, and he's cleaned it up to maybe a little bit of crap. He basically
was given a 2000s car that's just been beaten. It was told to make this a luxury car. It's like, how?
It reminds me of
I need a new car.
It reminds me of Fast and Furious, the first one where Brian, the Paul Walker, the guy played by Paul Walker, shows Vin Diesel the wrecked up car, and Vin Diesel's like, I asked for a 10-second car, not a 10-minute car.
Yeah, exactly.
And Brian's like, trust, bro. And at the end, obviously, he literally turns into a 10-second car and helps them escape from the cops. That's the goal for the Giants is and that's what Joe Schoen's working on. Like the team isn't great yet, but we're getting there with the moves they're making. And one of the best moves they made this offseason was bringing in not one but 2 veteran quarterbacks, but the main one being Russell Wilson. So Russell Wilson is 37 years old, so he doesn't have too much left in the tank. Yeah, he is old, which is why we drafted Jackson Dart, but I don't feel like we've given enough love to Russell Wilson. I mean, we talked about him when we signed him during that emergency episode, but Wandell's comments got me the other day when he was speaking to the media. He was saying how Russ has been better than we expected. He was smiling a lot, and he was saying how the deep ball drops in there really well, and it quote comes in like a pillow, and it's really easy to catch. And I heard that, and I was just like, man, Jones really did suck.
Yeah, you were just figuring this out.
No, like we all knew Jones was bad, but like the fact that these guys are praising the most simple things that a quarterback should do for them, like it drops in like a pillow. Like that's how a deep ball should feel when it's thrown to you. Like these guys have never played.
A good quarterback who won a Super Bowl was a part of one of the best dynasties of the 2010s can do for you.
Or simply put, just a quarterback in general, because these guys have never played with an actual quarterback. Like, yes, Jones is a quarterback, but he's not a quarterback.
He's a quarterback because he was drafted as a quarterback, but he's not a good quarterback. He's not an NFL caliber quarterback, which is what Colt fans need to realize, because I read your comments, guys. I read the Colts Instagram page, and it's one of the saddest things I've ever read in my life. So I'm like, Jesus, was this us? Did we sound like this? This is pathetic.
Like Jones, there's a difference. Jones plays the quarterback position.
Yes.
He's not the quarterback. Russ is the quarterback. If that makes sense. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I was trying to make sure that makes sense.
Yes. No, they get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is an NFL quarterback. Daniel Jones, it can play quarterback.
I'm hoping Jones is for fun.
He's not. He's not.
And, I was on unless Shane Steichen just turns it around or figures him out.
The only guy I could think that could figure him out at this point is Kevin O'Connell. That's it.
I know. I wish he stayed in Minnesota, but
that'd be the one spot. But with JJ there, you have to.
He wasn't going to start.
He was never going to start. The Colts gave him a chance to start. He took it. It's that simple.
And he might, because AR is out with an injury. Yeah. So
shocking. AR is out with injury.
And when he's on the field, he's probably tired too. But I digress. But yeah, Russ recently saw a video of him as well. He was, dude, the way the balls come out of his hands it's impressive. Yeah,
it looks good. It looks
either it's good, or it's just I'd never seen that before by a quarterback in like years.
For Daniel Jones' stuff, that this looks amazing.
Yeah, like all this looks like he's throwing fireballs to Tracy, hitting Hyatt in the corner. He hit Theo over the middle in tight coverage, and he floated a ball to Slayton towards the corner of the end zone over Paulson and Debo, which it floated beautifully right into Slayton's hands. Like, and he, Russell Wilson, he's commanding the offense. He's commanding he's just being a leader. He's committed. He worked with Wandale and Slayton during the offseason before. This is before the offseason program started with New York.
They as soon as Wilson signed, I feel like the next week we had pictures of them working out together. Which is good, because that's what Eli used to do. Eli used to call his guys up and go down to like Mississippi or Louisiana, where he lived.
Yeah,
and go throw with them
to build chemistry and all that stuff. He was naming players and staff during the Zoom meetings, like we talked about.
Yep.
When he met with media for the first time, he took the RBs and offensive linemen out for dinner. Like, I'm just glad he's on our team and gives me hope for this season. Keyword is hope. Don't know how it's gonna go. Because let's be honest, every time we're like, oh my God, the team's gonna be really good, and then they just end up being trash, and the player that we sign or whoever is just underwhelming. But look, we're talking about a decorated player. He's a 37-year-old quarterback with a Super Bowl under his belt, a 10-time Pro Bowler. He won the 2020 Walter Payton Man of the Year. Shows he's a great guy off the field. He's 121, 77, and 1 as a starting quarterback, which shows he is a winner, unlike our last starting quarterback.
Big word there, winner.
Yeah, he's a winner. And you would think for a guy that might get his job taken by a rookie quarterback, he would be worried. He's not. Like, he's not an Aaron Rodgers guy who was because obviously Rodgers, he never said that he wasn't willing to mentor Jordan Love, but you could tell he was pissed.
No. He the way he acted
did, right?
showed he was not willing to mentor.
He didn't
Jordan
say
Love.
it outright, but yeah,
no,
just body language and stuff showed he didn't want to teach Love anything and not have him take a spot. But
all the drama around Aaron Rodgers started when Jordan, like there was always drama with him, but it was kind of more like swept under the rug, like behind the scenes stuff. It became the focal point when Love went to the Packers. That's when Aaron Rodgers became this drama queen quarterback.
Yeah, because he was just so pissed. Like, dang, what? I just literally won MVP not too long ago.
Right? Yeah.
Why? Well, it's working out for Green Bay now, but for Rodgers, he's on his third team in what, 3-4 years?
Yeah. 3 years.
Ouch.
Well, 4 years. Do you count the 7 seconds he spent on the Jets in 2023?
Brian, come on. I mean,
that's still what I know he got injured. It's still one of the funniest moments of my life. I wasn't even there to watch it.
Dude, I think we talked about last week, right? It's like
it's like, why is Zach Wilson in the game right now?
He came out to Thunderstruck. That's the song, right?
I don't know what song came out for, but it was like, it was 9/11, it was the flag, it was New York.
The handshake with Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, it was like, oh, the culture is changing. The Jets are here.
And then for reason, Leonard Floyd just says,
nope.
Nope, not today, Satan.
Right, check out the point he's going. Guys, Zach wasn't in the game for some reason. I think Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
I think all the sports books
voided
Rodgers.
I don't even remember that.
I hope they did, because
after that, me and my friends just sat in our dorm room and just laughed for the rest of the we didn't even care who won. We're like, this is the funny. Like, even the Jets win this game, it's a loss.
I feel like Zach Wilson was just he was looking forward to just learning behind Rodgers and sitting back. And once he saw Rodgers go, then he was like, and then Robert Saleh looking back at him like.
Joe Douglas is up in the suite like, I just lost my job.
He's looking down. He's like this with it, like he's just like, and all the Jets fans are just like the ones that got
not again. Like... Why did this keep happening to us?
Garrett Wilson's like,
I need to get out of here.
Oh my god! Like it was just so.
It is the Jets franchise summed up in one word. And if there's one play that summarizes the entire history of the New York Jets, it's that one.
And look, I get that they won that night, which is great, but like the rest of the season,
no one talks about the fact they won that night.
No one remembers that game as the one where they won and a walk-off punt return by Xavier Gibson.
Yeah.
But the first thing when you think of week 1 against the Bills in 23, it's
the flag and then Rodgers.
It's the flag and Rodgers going down. That's how big that injury was. Forever, man. I mean, you said, and then he did.
And they only won that game because Josh Allen played the worst I think we've ever seen.
He did not play good at all.
He had 3 interceptions that game, and like 2 of them were like, where are you throwing that ball?
Yeah. That was not MVP Josh Allen. No, sir. No, sir. No.
It was free Haley Seinfeld Josh Allen.
Yeah. Once he got with Haley, that turned it around, man. He's my favorite non-Giants quarterback, literally, in the league right now.
Could have had him.
But don't remind me. But with Russ, no, he is the opposite of Rodgers, man. He's willing to communicate and share, but even if it's with Jackson Dart, he talked about it with the media as well. And look, I get it. Look, I understand that Russ isn't going to be here, barring the most miraculous turnaround of his career. Not saying he's been bad for these past couple of seasons, but if he just turns back the clock and plays like he is 10 years younger,
even then, he won't. Even then,
I
don't think he's here more than a year. Now with Dart there,
if he turns back the clock and the Giants miraculously go 10-7, 11-6, and the offense is a top 10 unit, he's gonna be here next season.
I don't think so. I think a team will pay him, and the Giants won't be willing to pay him because they have Dart and Winston. I think the only way Wilson is back next year is if they win a Super Bowl.
That's obviously not going to happen. But
Exactly.
I think
if
you have
there
to lower
wasn't
the
Dart,
bar a little bit.
I'd be more willing to say, yeah, Wilson can be back next year. But the fact they traded up, gave up capital, and like Brian Daboll's in love with Jackson Dart.
Well, you can still follow the Jordan Love.
I know, but I just don't think they'll get Wilson because Wilson will demand a big contract. He'll demand the final like a 2-year high annual value, but I don't think the Giants will give it to him if he plays well.
How much faith do you have in Russ to play all 17?
I would say there's like a 70% chance.
30% being if the Giants are
30% being the Giants are bad or struggling and they want to change up the vibes a little bit. Then like maybe they'll throw Winston in there. Maybe Dart comes in like after the bye.
Yeah, and this, as much as I want to see, and it's gonna take a lot for Russ to be here longer after this upcoming season, because he's not gonna be able to hold off Jackson Dart forever.
No.
I'm hoping he does, because that means we're doing good.
Yeah.
But even with, we saw in literally in Giants history, we've seen this twice. Kurt Warner couldn't hold off Eli, which, by the way, that's a forgotten Giant, by the way. I remember, sorry, I'm thinking about your forgotten player series.
Yeah. No, I was listening to Giants Nation the other day, Bobby Skinner's new podcast, and he had Entertainer on, and he literally talked about how similar the two situations are. It's a little different because Dart wasn't the first overall pick, but the bridge veteran who had success was at one point a top 5 quarterback in the league, coming here and mentoring a young quarterback. The similarities between Wilson and Kurt Warner are very, very big.
No doubt. Oh, yeah. Because Eli was this young, talented prospect, and Kurt Warner was a good veteran, but he couldn't hold him off. Like, Eli just was able to take his job pretty easily.
Yeah.
Same thing with recently. Daniel Jones, 6 overall pick.
Yeah. I think that one's more on Pat Shurmur trying to save his job than Daniel Jones playing better than Eli. But the point remains.
Yeah. Eli played 2 games in 2019, and
no, he played.
Sorry, he played 2 games to start the year.
And then
moved on to Jones
because of the Miami game. He won, and he walked off the field to his family. And
looked good, by the way.
If everyone thought, if there was even a shred of doubt that Eli was going to not retire, him running off the field and immediately hugging his wife and kids, that should have been like, there's no way this guy's playing football next year. Absolutely no way this guy's coming back.
Shit, man. It was a sad day that day when he walked out that field for the last time. I was just like, hey, man, that's our guy. That was our guy for so long, like, we never had to worry about our starting quarterback for years, because it's like, all right, Eli's there, yeah. Yeah, now it's like, okay, it's Daniel. Recently it's been Daniel Jones. It's Tommy DeVito. It's Drew Lock. It's
Tyrod Taylor. So you're gonna come in at some point and be the guy. Is Tommy Cutler secretly a franchise quarterback? We don't know.
But hopefully, thankfully, we will only get to deal with. Well, Russ isn't our franchise guy, but hopefully, when his time comes, Jackson Dart's our starter for years to come.
Yep.
But yeah, the point remains. Russell isn't going to be able to hold off Dart for long. The longest it's going to be, like you said, and I agree, barring some miraculous turning back the clock, Dart's not going to. Russ isn't going to be here longer after this season. But for just this season alone, I do hope he plays all 17 games.
Yeah,
I do hope the Giants have success. Like, let him rock. Like, if the Giants have a bad stretch of games, if this bad stretch of games is like 2-3 games, don't take him out and put Dart in there. Like, don't give in to what the fans want, because the fans want Dart to play like as soon as possible, because they've seen what they saw, and so far in the offseason with the clips and yes, it's exciting. I get it. We all get it. Like, once Dart's on the field, we're gonna be excited, just as you guys are, bro. Just as you Giants fans are watching this. I get it. Damn it, we signed Russ for Wilson, and damn it, this guy's a winner, man. And I want to see him succeed. And he's such a great guy. And for once, Dable gets to work with the freaking veteran for the first time.
A real veteran. Like, he had Tyrod Taylor, but like, outside of Tyrod Taylor's time in Buffalo, he's never really been the guy.
Yeah. So
Like he was, like even Buffalo, he was decent in Buffalo. I
damn
wouldn't say he
right.
was great as the starting quarterback for the Bills.
Damn right. So it's just like let Russ let him cook, man. Like just let him do his thing. Honestly, and I'm excited. I have faith in him. I do feel like he can lead this team to success more than
Yes.
honestly any other quarterback that has played for the Giants recently.
He brings
can.
the winning attitude that the Giants have kind of been missing. It's a guy
Yes.
that's won a lot in his career, and he'll bring that to the Giants.
And the receivers can feel confident knowing he will get them the football, not just with 5-yard slants and ins and Wendell being crushed over the middle. Like, I think this offense will be good this year.
Yeah.
Because of Russ, and I hope that's the case. So I have faith. So this segment wasn't really like a debate. Really, it was just more like let's give Russ his flowers.
Russ the love he deserves, because he does deserve it. He does deserve love. It's overshadowed because of the excitement of what Dart is, because Dart is the future. There's no way around it. Dart will be the Giants quarterback for the next 3 years at least after this season.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having excitement in Dart. But for 25, let's just hope Russ.
25, you hope Wilson starts all 17. You hope the Giants are competitive, because I don't know. I mean, the NFC is weak, so they could sneak into a wild card spot. I don't want to crown them a division champion because I don't think they're good enough to beat a Philly or a Washington yet. But there is a world where they sneak into that 6 or 7 seed, because the NFC is wide open. It's wide open. There is no dominance. It's top heavy.
If we sneak in, dude, this podcast will be insufferable if we sneak into the postseason, because the last time we were in the playoffs, we didn't have the pod, or we didn't.
The show was I wasn't doing the show yet. I was doing Giants talk for Sienna still.
Yeah. Oh, but we're gonna throw a party up in here if we make the postseason. But all right, enough Giants talk. If anything, we'll discuss more about the Giants on Thursday. Yeah. Because I mean, we are a month away from division previews, so we might. Yeah, we'll discuss on Thursday.
I have actually a fun idea for Thursday.
Do you want to reveal it now, or do you want to reveal it off the show?
I'll reveal it off the show.
You got it, my friend. The biggest news before you get into anything about the Mets. The biggest news I heard yesterday, which I'm actually late on because it was revealed, I think, last week. No, it was revealed yesterday. I forgot. The Mets announced that you guys are having a rainbow cookie egg roll.
Oh, yes.
That was the biggest announcement I heard from the Mets. Oh, yeah, and Pete Alonso won Player of the Week. Whatever.
Again, by the way.
Yeah, I'm kidding about the whatever.
By the way, if you're like on a net, if Citi Field's a great place to go to, it's the best ballpark in New York. I would say top 10 ballpark in the MLB. If even you're not a Mets fan and you just want to go there, the food is unbelievable.
Really?
Okay. Like my mom and sister, like they go to the Met games. They're Met fans, so I'm Mets fans. But even they're like, we went to the Paul Skeens game, and they're like, we're gonna walk around, we're gonna get food, we're gonna get the cookie bat. Like, they wanted to see. There's a lot of food at Citi Field you could go try. So the cookie egg roll is another invention of their amazing culinary team they have going on over there.
I may forget because I'm not sure when I'll ever go to Citi Field. But can you name a couple items that I should?
Yeah, so they got you can get, first off, Handel Classic is the peppers and sausage they have at every station at Citi Field. I don't know if every stadium does that, but the smell of pepper and sausage, it feels like that's the smell of Citi Field, is that smell. Like you walk up to the concourse, you see the ballpark, and that smell hits you. So that's a big one.
Okay.
They got some Reubens there. They got cookie basket, a bucket full of cookies. They got the polar burger. I don't know if they still have it, but they once did. After Pete Alonso, the burger he created. A lot of great stuff to go. They got Keith Hernandez Grill out in left field. They got a Shake Shack. You want some fast food. Also, the only problem is you got to miss like 4 innings of the game standing on line for it.
But is it worth it? It's up to you.
I think. Up to you.
But yeah, man. Well, now we can move on to the baseball part.
Yes.
Mets 5-2 on the road trip. takeaways, thoughts.
I mean,
All you,
they
my
all
friend.
right. So they split the Rockies, which, by the way, they went 8-1 against teams like the Rockies and White Sox. Which 8-1's not. It's not easy to do, even against bad baseball teams. Baseball is a weird sport. Stuff happens sometimes. Like a pitcher just is on that day, and hitters can't figure him out. So to be able to go 8-1 against these bad teams is really it shows just how good the Mets are, and also how bad the Rockies are. But I digress. They split with the Dodgers, which is exactly what I wanted to do. You can make the argument that the Mets could have gone 7-0 against the Dodgers because the two of their losses came in extra innings, and they had the blown leading game on the Thursday game, which they already wrapped up the season series. So if the biggest complaint about playing the Dodgers was we couldn't beat the Dodgers more, seems like you're in a pretty good spot. You're 4-3, could have been 7-0. But a couple plays I want to highlight. First off, Francisco Lindor on Friday night, playing on a broken toe, coming in and getting a clutch hit to win that game. Dude, he's him. He's an all-star. I don't know what I want to say. Francisco Lindor is good. Second, Jeff McNeil, a guy that a lot of Met fans have kind of run out of town because of guys like Mark Vientos, Brett Beatty, Ronnie Mauricio, Luisano Acuna, Jet Williams coming up. There's a lot of good young talent. And McNeil, after 2022, which is when he won the batting title, kind of changed his approach to the plate and went more towards like a power hitter, which, kind of caused his offensive numbers to drop dramatically, which kind of it upset Met fans because he wasn't the player he once was, and after giving the big extension, it's like we just move on from him. But McNeil very quietly this year is having a great offensive season. Slash line at 257, 355, 533, 6 home runs, 17 RBIs, and OPS plus of 154, which, by the way, if you don't know what OPS plus is, it kind of is like the all-encompassing stat that like factors in like ballparks and wind and all that different stuff. 100 is the average. So Jeff McNeil is 54 points better than the average hitter in 2025. So he's a guy that's earned a spot in this lineup. He's versatile. He can play second. He can play third base, corner outfielders. We've seen him in center field. He's been fine out there. I think he's kind of one of those situations where you put him in center for like 7 innings, and like in the 8th, you put Tyrone Taylor out there for defensive replacement. But I digress. So McNeil having a great start. Big weekend this year. Colorado had 2 home runs on Sunday. He's got to be in the lineup every single day. It's that simple. And then it's an argument that Met fans have been having, so I feel like I should address it. It's that Luis Torrens needs to be in over Francisco Alvarez. Like, he needs to be the starting everyday catcher. Now, look at the stats. Alvarez is 255, a 333, 343 slash line, 2 dingers, 10 RBIs, 97 OPS plus. Torrens, slash line 250, 339, 385, 1 home run, 13 RBIs, a 110 OPS plus. And Torrens is the much better defensive catcher. Sure, they're like caught stealing and pop time are similar, but in terms of framing, which has become a very big element of catching in MLB today, Torrens ranks in the 78th percentile among MLB catchers. Alvarez is a 6th. Like, it's one of those points where Torrens has to be the everyday starting catcher. Now, am I giving up on Francisco Alvarez as a prospect? Absolutely not. The dude's 23 years old, all right? Cal Rawlings, who's 28, is just having his breakout year, all right? He leads league in home runs. He was a fine player beforehand, but not this. Sometimes, especially for catchers, it just takes longer. Alvarez is a guy that probably got called up too early, probably should have been called up in 2022. He probably could have used a few more years in the minor leagues to kind of develop his craft. He does have 3 minor league options, so that is an avenue the Mets can't explore, but that kind of is kind of like a slap in the face, especially as he's been the everyday catcher the past 2 years. The sun down now, so I'm more suggesting the Mets should go with like a 60-40, a 55-45 split between Torrens and Alvarez, just so Alvarez learns a little bit. And this is something that a lot of fans have brought up, and I wrote an article about it for Rising Apple, so you can check it out over there, is the Mets hitting coaches, whatever approach they're using for Alvarez doesn't work. They want to be more of a pull hitter. Alvarez isn't that guy. You have to let Alvarez just be be a free swinger. That's why I think they should bring back JD Martinez, because he was a guy last year. Mark Vientos was very, very vocal about this, saying how he changed how his game. I mean, they joked about it. Martinez was the third hitting coach. So, Alvarez just needs more time, but on a winning ball. See, if you're the A's, you're okay with letting Alvarez play a single game because you're not going anywhere. When you're the Mets and you're on, I'm sorry, you had to do it. When you're in the Mets, you're on top of the National League. You can't have a guy learning on the fly. You need a solid guy back there, which is what Torrens gives you. So, start seriously against the Nationals and Rays. Again, Philly's kind of falling apart. Braves are a disaster. The Mets could have a really big lead when it's all. They already have 4.5 games up. It could be really big come next week.
Yeah, Phillies.
They're 1-9, and there was a Phillies. There's a bunch of Phillies trolls. There's one big one, and he was trolling Juan Soto after he's like, "Well, he only did it against Colorado," and every Met fan's like, "Bro, you just got swept by the Rockies. You got swept by the Pirates. Calm down.
Yeah,
go worry about your own team for a little bit. Stop trolling."
Not to go, and I'm not trying to shift the subject away from the Phillies. I'll make
no. We can go. I finished the Mets, so we can go. We could talk Phillies because I feel like we have to.
Yeah, by the way, they saw the Phillies are okay. They don't suck, but they are
suck.
4 games. Okay, cool. They're 4 games back of the Mets. Like they're
4 games, first, and they're 1-9 in the last 10.
They're not good
against like the Pirates. Like I know Paul Skeens is there, but like it's the Pirates. You should win 2 or 3 against them.
I think that they just beat the who just beat we literally just walked off against them. Oh, that was the Cubs yesterday. I lost my So we beat the Cubs, so at least the streak is over.
All right, so you're 2-8 in your last 10.
Fantastic. It's still trash, but no, I want to talk about the Pirates real quick. I feel so bad for Paul Skeens, man. They took him out. Literally.
Yeah, he should have left him in. It makes no sense because he threw 4 pitches.
He was fine. He got 2 outs and 4 pitches, and the manager was like, "Are you done?" I'm like, what?
That makes sense for the Pirates.
He was at 97 pitches. Even the Phillies announcers were like literally laughing when they took him out because they're like, "Why would you take him out?" And I was just like,
shout out to those guys. Those guys do a great job, by the way. The Phillies broadcasters. Yeah. I don't love giving Philly credit, but those guys do an unbelievable job over there. They are fun to listen to.
McCarthy and Kruk are the funniest. John Kruk is funny as heck, man. But dude, I'm just like, I see him walk off the field, and I'm just like, why would you take him out? Like he's
even
doing.
Skeens was like, what are you doing? Like you can see it on his face. He's like, ow.
He's just smiling like, get me off this mother team.
Put me on a contender, please.
Not the Dodgers.
No,
not the Dodgers. If he goes to my best friend, who's a Dodger fan, he's like, yeah, he's gonna come here. You know that, right? I'm like, you.
I think Houston's a nice spot for him.
Ew. No.
I think that's where he's from.
Oh, really?
I believe so. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Paul Skeens is from the Houston area.
Send him to Cincinnati.
No, he's from California. He's from Florenton, California. Cali boy.
I was going to say the A's. No, go to the Giants.
No, not the A's. Padres.
Go to the Giants. Go to the SF Giants.
That'd be interesting.
We can all unite as one supportive MLB community if he goes to the Giants.
Because the Mariners. I feel like the Mariners would be the better, but they're too good pitching wise.
Nah, just screw Seattle.
Wow.
As a California kid,
what's Seattle done?
Listen, Linda. He's a California kid. Seattle is not California. He deserves to pitch in sunny skies and live out his life with Livy Dunn in sunny the sunny state or the Golden State.
Livy Dunn is kind of switching to a modeling career, and you know where the king of modeling is, right?
In California.
It's in New York. maybe comes over to Flushing and helps us complete our dynasty.
Yeah, you're gonna be insufferable if he goes.
Could you imagine Paul Skeens in the Mets pitching lab?
Oh God. Oh yeah.
We turned Griffin Canning into a good pitcher.
Yeah, after what you guys did with David Peterson and Canning, oh for sure. Yeah,
Paul Skeens is never gonna be able to be touched again.
No, sir. You think he has a good repertoire now with his fastball and whatever else he's got? Nah. watch this. The Mets are gonna just like do some
Superman out there.
Yeah. I don't think we give. I think we talked about it before, but to just give you guys your pitching staff love again, or your pitching, whether it's the rotation or the guys behind the scenes, like they don't get enough love, man. Like you guys have just been phenomenal this year from a pitching perspective. It's been absolutely insane. Crazy just with the rotation, Senga and Peterson and Canning and
Clay Holmes.
Well,
Clay Holmes is an all-star.
I forget.
Holmes is an all-star.
Yeah.
I remember on the Super Show, Eric Cat saying that Clay Holmes sucks. Here we are. He's got an ERA under 3, and I know every Yankee fan would love him right now.
Talk about, what a turnaround. Well, this guy wanted to be a starter, and Matt said, okay.
But here's the thing. I don't understand. Why did he ever approach like the Yankees or the Pirates? I know he's a Pirate. He was a starter for the Pirates. But like, did he ever approach the Yankees about being the starter? Because look how good he is. Like, you never.
That's what I'm saying.
If he's this good, he had to have at least thought about being a starter at one point. It's like, hey, can I get a crack at it?
At least, and the Yankees were like, if that did happen, the Yankees were like, nah. Just go pitch the 8th, buddy. Like, this ain't you. The Mets are like, we got you, bro.
We'll give you a shot.
We'll give you a shot. And he's been the whole damn rotation, man. Y'all definitely don't need no
Clay Holmes is an all-star, and it's going to break a lot of people's brains.
Get some bullpen help. At this point in time, the way you guys are playing, the best thing you guys can do is get some bullpen help. Because, hey, you can never have too many bullpen arms, especially in the postseason. No.
And we got two bullpen guys on Saturday. We got Julian Merriweather and Justin Garza.
Oh, shoot.
Two. If you want to learn about them, Rising Apple, I wrote a whole article about both of them. So
I'll look into that, my friend.
Yeah.
Definitely. So real quick, we went a little bit over time, so let's get to our pickle game too. So real quick, NBA Finals tied up 1-1. Halliburton, hell of a shot in game 1. But Thunder.
My poor friend.
Dude.
The diehard Thunder fan. I texted him. I didn't hear from him for like an hour. I'm like, I really hope he's okay. I do not know right now.
The Pacers led for
0.3 seconds.
0.3 seconds, bro.
That's the Pacers game, though. They're never out of it.
Never
ever. I was watching game 2, and I kept seeing the Thunder go up and up, and I'm like, yeah, the Pacers could still overcome this.
Yeah, and they did make a little comeback in game 2, but Thunder kept the pedal to the metal, and they got the job done. Thoughts on the series so far? You still have to go on Thunder? And,
I still go Thunder, but I think I'm going to go Thunder in 7 now. I think this series goes a distance.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still going Pacers in 6. Game 3 is Wednesday, so what do you expect to happen in game 3?
I think another close, tightly contested contest with the Thunder pulling out by 4 points.
Okay. It's first game in Indy. First game at home for Indiana in the finals. Indiana blows them out by 20.
Okay.
There we go. Halliburton, please be better. He hasn't been great this year, but in this series, by the way, he's averaged 15, 6, and 6, but averaging 4 turnovers.
I mean, a lot of the betting lines, like we've been looking at them, and it's like Halliburton's point total is 16.5. I'm sitting there, I'm like that's crazy. I want to take that over, but it doesn't hit.
He's been struggling, and
Halliburton's so good that 16.5 is disrespectful, but it's true right now.
It makes sense, especially with the OKC and their defense. It's hard to get into the paint, and that's what's making it
Caruso,
difficult.
Dort locking them up. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, and the guys in the paint, with Hartenstein and Holmgren, there's some tall guys, man. So it's hard to be aggressive against the paint. And Halliburton, no free throws in the first 2 games at all. So hopefully we see more of an aggressive Halliburton, because when he's aggressive, when he's selfish, the Pacers succeed. So hope to see that in game 3. But I do think first game at home for Indiana in the finals this year. First game at Indiana for the NBA Finals. Give the Pacers in this one. NHL, Panthers up 2-1 after a 6-1 thrashing.
Dominant statement win last night. Statement win. Because we had the 2 physical, unbelievable games in game 1 and game 2 in Edmonton.
Yes.
Go to Florida. I think a lot of fans expected the same thing. And then Florida showed why they won the Cup last year. Dominated from every aspect. From the jump, they were the better team. I think this is Panthers in 6 right now, especially after last night.
I'm hoping for the Oilers because, Canada deserves something at least.
But it's so funny the longer Canada goes without a Stanley Cup.
That is true. That shows
fun.
it is our sports.
It's our sport.
It's our sport. Well,
you got lucky in the 4 nations. You got lucky, Canada.
That still haunts.
We're coming for you for 2026 Olympics. We're coming.
It hurts, man.
Oh, it hurts. Yeah,
it hurts. But gosh dang it. All righty, pickle time. Let's get it, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Last week last Thursday you got the player. Right, I forgot who it was, but
no, you got it. It was Ryan Hensley, like the Cardinals pitcher.
Right,
last Tuesday. It was Roy Lewis.
The magical guy I somehow pulled out of my hat because he was my pitcher in fantasy, but
pretty much.
Yeah, don't know how I got that one. Mm-hmm. All right, my friend, you got the first guess as always. What do you got?
Jeff McNeil.
Jeff McNeil.
Just talked about him.
Yes, sir.
Aw.
USA. Well, he's a U.S.
He's
American.
He's an American League player.
Throws with the right.
In the Central or the West?
Wait.
Under the age of 30.
Shouldn't this be highlighted? So he's in the AL, right?
He's an AL Central or AL West player.
Got it. Yes, got it. Give me Rooker, man.
There you go.
Let's see.
This is an AL Central player.
Okay.
A righty AL Central player. We're back in the AL Central. He's under the age of 30, so he's either 28 or 29.
Correct.
Carlos Correa, I believe, is like 31.
He's not American.
He's not American, no.
Joe Ryan?
Try it.
Are you sure that's gonna be your guess?
Yeah, I'll do Joe Ryan. Why not?
Yeah, it's because I saw him on a betting app. So
nice. Wow. Okay. All right.
I'm cooking, bro. Dang.
All right. We gotta think of the pitching staffs for the Royals.
The Royals.
White Sox, the White Sox, the Tigers, or the.
What's the one guy I literally saw on the White Sox the other day? Okay, I got it. I'll give you this guess. I'll wait for mine. I feel like
I think Seth Lugo is too old. I believe
he's a lefty.
Might be a lefty.
Yeah, he's lefty.
No, try Lugo. I think Lugo actually might be a righty.
Okay, I got you. He's 35.
It's too old. He's a righty, though. Okay, that makes me feel better.
If it's a White Sox guy, I feel like I know what it is. I feel like I do.
You feel like it?
I feel like it. Feel it. But I don't know if you want me to try it.
Try it. Okay.
Shane Smith, baby. Dang it, he's 25. Son of a
young kid.
Dang it, dude. That's the one White Sox pitcher. Yeah, we're screwed. Never mind. Yeah,
Bailey Ober? No, he's not a Minnesota Twin.
Dang it, yes. Okay, so Guardians,
I think Ober's on Pirates too. What am I talking about? Yeah, Guardians,
White Sox,
Guardians, Tigers, White Sox, or Royals.
Is Casey Mize a lefty or a righty?
Try Mize. Try him. Just look him up, see what he is. I think he's yeah. I was gonna say I think he's too young. It's his thing.
Oh yeah. Dang it. Yeah, I forgot we got the age already. Dang it. Okay.
Screwball's too old. Screwball's 30, right? Or is he turning 30? Look up Screwball. See how old he is. Wow, 28. And a lefty thrower.
He's young. He's got a career.
He's a lot younger than I thought he was. Jeez.
He's got a long way ahead.
Oh. Jack Flaherty.
Very nice. Way to cook.
Mm-hmm.
Way to cook. I think he's doing pretty good in Detroit, isn't he?
I think he's doing fine, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing great. Oh, I didn't change the background. Oh my god, how did it look with the? Oh,
yeah, you just kind of saw just saw Halliburton and SGA above the thing.
Bruh.
By the way, Flaherty's got a 3.41 ERA, a 1.07 WHIP, so not bad.
Yeah,
average.
How did it look? Oh yeah. Okay, wasn't that? No,
it looked fine. You're just kind of funny of SGA and Halliburton.
Yeah, it didn't look that bad. Well. Now I know for next. Usually I always change it before we.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah. So
We good.
So does the background not want to change? Okay, well, this I want to change, I guess. Literally, I have a background that says "See you Thursday," but it won't change. So,
See you
StreamYard,
Thursday.
yeah, StreamYard, you suck. Anyways, you can follow us on social media. Good show, by the way, as always. My friend, thank you guys for watching and for your support. You can follow us on social media. You can follow me at Nathan_Nguyen24. You can follow Brian at BrianPT1016 on Twitter. Never gonna call it X. Sorry. You can follow us also on our podcast page. It is, yeah, sure is at Third and 10 Pod on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and the Instagram. And you can find our podcast along with the other podcasts and our other talented writers that we work with at bellyupsports.com. This show is presented by SeatGeek. Use the code BellyUpSports for $20 off for your first purchase. Restrictions do apply. Folks, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe. As always, we appreciate all the comments. Our TikTok on, I think it was the
Odell one.
Yeah, Odell one got some comments on TikTok. So we thank you guys for chiming in and giving us your thoughts. Someone agreed with you, by the way, Brian. That you made a good point
I saw
about
that. Shout out that guy. That guy was awesome.
Heck yeah, man. So thank you guys as always for watching. We appreciate it. We see it. We can't thank you guys enough for just supporting us and all. Again, we promise to give you guys more content every single week, at least twice a week. We got your guys' back. So yeah, we got a lot more Thursday to talk about, whether it's Giants and all that good stuff. And we might have another draft for you guys on that day too. Last week was all-time Giants. We'll see what we can cook up this upcoming Thursday. So for Brian, I'm Nate. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.